We know that there are requirements in the OSHA standards for us to provide training for our workers, and we have to meet those requirements to be in compliance. However, if we want to do effective training, then sometimes we want to really consider what that's going to take. Well, there's one OSHA standard out there that got both the requirements right in terms of compliance and a model for effective training, and that's the Powered Industrial Truck Training Requirements. That standard is one of the best training requirement standards that we have because it's performance-based, and it also requires 3-phase training. Now that means we're going to provide formal training, then practical training, and then an evaluation to make sure the person can perform driving that truck before they're allowed to do so. Now, the formal training has to cover the truck and the work-related information, and it's our choice how we choose to do that, whether we do it in the classroom or do a self-study or do computer-based or just stand around the truck. But there's about 20 components related to the work, environment, and the truck that has to be covered, and it's our choice how to go about it. One of the best aspects of this is that it then leads to the practical training. So the participant should actually get on, inspect the truck, and then practice driving the truck until they're proficient enough to be able to be evaluated. And they should actually practice in the work environment with the truck itself in an area that won't cause themselves harm or provide any potential for harm for other workers in that area. And they need to remain supervised the entire time they're under practice. And then we need to evaluate them, which is evaluating them actually doing the tasks that we're going to expect them to do unsupervised, and that the person evaluating would feel comfortable that they can do that. So first formal, then practical, then evaluations. That's what it means to be certified to drive a powered industrial truck, documenting the fact that you did the formal and practical and the evaluation and show that they're proficient. Now, the retraining also is super because it's performance-based. We aren't going to have to retrain them every year or 2 or even 3. What it says is we will retrain them every time they don't perform. So if they're in an accident or actually a near accident, we need to retrain them. If they aren't driving safely, not following any of the things that we taught them are required to drive that truck safely, including speed and wearing a seat belt and having the forks up and buzzing along, then they need to be retrained. We obviously need to train them in any changes to the truck or the workplace, and if they fail the evaluation. If they don't perform the skills that we want them to, then they have to go back and be retrained. And that's why the 3-year requirement is to re-evaluate somebody to make sure they're still performing. And if they aren't, then they just get retrained again. So if we use this model of formal, practical, and evaluation for anywhere where we want performance-based training, then that's a wonderful training model to use to get the proficiency that we're after.